because this is the right thing to do for the game.
Luke Smith dropping mics in the TWAB. Holy
Pizza.
holy butts.
Holy, hold on to your butts, Luke.
This is fantastic.
It's fun talking guns. Matter of fact, it's a blast when you're hanging out with the Pizza Party Destiny Podcast. Hello, pizza people. Back with another episode of the Pizza Party Destiny Podcast with your host, In the Light.
And Motion Idiot. What's up, guys?
Beautiful. Okay, so instead of like a super serious, well, it's the subject is serious to our hearts, but it's not as much as a serious podcast like we've been doing the past few weeks. It's more fun because what we're talking about is like it's like inspiration. Like, oh my gosh, things are gonna change. We're gonna change the world. We're gonna change Destiny 2 world. Oh my god. So today in the TWAB, the one, the only, Luke Smith came out and talked about rewards in Destiny 2 and that they aren't really spread out in the right areas.
Mm-hmm. But he gets real specific about how adjustments need to be implemented. I'm excited to talk about it. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. So I'm antsy. Let's do this. Let's jump into it. And this is all planned for Destiny 2 Year 4, right? So we're going to get another little season. It's probably going to be pretty bare.
We'll have like maybe an expectations episode at some point, kind of going into what we think the future season is, just to get everybody's headspace correct, about what to expect.
Yeah.
And then this information is good moving forward, into season 12 and the beginning of year 4.
Year 4. Love it. Right off the bat. Eververse. This is all Eververse stuff. Ships, ghosts, and sparrows. Vanity and accessory stuff, right? These are the changes. So, year 4, they're going to be adding transmog. All right, so we kind of already have it, right? We kind of have like ornaments for armor.
Built through the Eververse.
And we don't... Right, and we don't know exactly what this all entails, but this is what it says. This will allow players to turn their armor into universal ornaments. Is that all armor? We'll see, who knows. We plan to allow players to do this with in-game effort or silver, so giving us both the options. And then this feature is in early development and is expected sometime during year 4. So maybe not right at the beginning.
Yep, 3 to 6 months in
but
would
during.
be my guess. Okay, so what do you think of that?
That's great, dude. So that's the one cool thing is like raid armor. Like you brought this up. I really love the helmet for the Titan from Garden because it's like got that goofy blue thing sticking out the back.
Yep.
But like I have to run that piece. But like, why can't I just have that as a thing, as a transmog?
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool sets in the game. Trials, raid, certain raid sets like the Prestige Leviathan. I think there's a lot of really cool sets in the game that you see often because you need a good roll on it, and then you also need to be like ready to rock that specific look. This is a big thing. So my personal opinion, at first I was a little on the fence about the idea of being able to transmog a piece of raid gear into like, let's say something you got from a random engram at the tower or something like that.
Right.
But then I read that second line, which is we plan to allow players to do this with in-game effort or silver. Now, the silver part, not a huge fan of, but the in-game effort part makes me think that maybe it will be a bright dust thing, and by collecting enough of the in-game currency, you could then choose one specific piece to transform into an ornament. Right, so then at least it's like you have to actually put in the work and the effort in order to look that way outside of the standard raid gear. So with that being one of their models, I'm excited about it. I think that sounds great.
Mm-hmm. And people, if they're gonna they need to make money, so they're gonna have that stuff for silver. So people if they like a really certain thing, They're gonna be able to put a bunch of money in, get the exact transmog for what they want, like whatever. Do whatever you gotta do if they need money, but like give us that option to grind it out, not have to spend any money, and get the pieces that we want. Set up the like I just got the Titan Iron Man looking helmet, but it's just like some basic world drop gear. But I really like the way it looks. It looks silly, like it looks like Iron Man.
Absolutely.
I like that piece.
And the silver thing, almost like, I don't know if it doesn't really bug me all that much because it's a way for Bungie to make money off of almost nothing. You know, they're not forcing anybody into this corner to buy cool things.
Give us the option.
And there's a route to get it in game. So it's like, that actually sounds like a great way for the whales to pay Bungie, and then maybe they can, maybe it will affect how Eververse is formatted.
Get some more staff.
Moving on.
Moving on now. Each season will deliver an aspirational pursuit for armor. We haven't done this consistently in Destiny 2. First bullet. This armor will come from activities, not the season pass nor Eververse. As an example, we removed the Eververse armor from Season 11 and itemized it into an aspirational activity because this is the right thing to do for the game.
Luke Smith dropping mics in the TWAB. Holy pizza. I mean, holy butts.
Holy, hold on to your butts, Luke.
This is fantastic. Just right off the bat, as a way to basically say, we're doing this wrong right now. The next season that we experience will see changes. They have removed the Eververse set that you were supposed to buy, and they have moved it likely into whatever next seasonal activity will be. And they say it's a aspirational, which makes me think that it will likely have, a series of, bump stops to get each piece of armor as you play that activity. And then once you've done it, you've suited up. That's great. Just a fantastic change.
And let's talk about Eververse. Usually, there's some pieces that are kind of goofy, but usually the armor from Eververse is always like the sickest stuff. Some of the coolest looking shit.
It's popping. Yeah. Darth Maul Warlock helmet, the football playing hunter.
Let us grind it in the game. Let us go out there and find it.
Super ugly Titan.
Yeah, that goofy freaking half towel. Yeah, but yeah, do that. I love it. That's the right thing to do.
I like that he said that. That's a really cool way to put it. You're right. The right thing to do is to give more cosmetic reward to the game.
Dude, that's a real good way to say you're a player.
So I'm looking at this and I'm also seeing something kind of interesting, right? It says like this armor will come from activities, not the season pass or Eververse. And then so one thing about the Eververse armor sets that I always had trouble with is that if you want to earn Bright Dust through the bounties and then purchase it, it's always so staggered in your ability to get it. So, for example, this season, they have still not sold the chest. So you really have to hold out. And if they're making aspirational armor sets that are earnable in-game, then you can get your hands on that cool-looking armor by dedicating your time to the event or whatever activity is brought forward. So yeah, and they also mentioned in previous stuff that they wanted to make these seasonal things in the future more focused around the core activities, Strikes, Crucible, and Gambit. With that in mind, it makes it so that when you go to play one of these core activities, which will likely get spruced up in the future, that there's another layer of reward on top of it. That sounds awesome. I'm excited.
I mean, and we'll get into it as it comes up, but like play the way you want to play. I love that idea. It should always be like that. Cool. So next one, we are improving the rewards for aspirational activities, aka raids, trials, dungeons. So these bullets will going forward. Aspirational activities will reward players with power, items, and vanity. When we build an aspirational activity, it will have at least one accessory to pursue, like aka a ghost from a raid or something deep that's like tough to get, a ship or something like Nano Phoenix from D1.
Absolutely. So I want to stop you on that bullet. When we build an aspirational activity, it will have at least one accessory to pursue. If that means that there's at least one decent cosmetic guaranteed for every time they build a raid, every time they build a dungeon, Every time they release new Trials gear, I'm assuming that will be the Adept weapons. They go into it.
That's nice.
It-
Yep.
That's something that I feel like was really big in Destiny 1 and was suspiciously missing start of D2 when exotic ghosts and ships and things were the only way to get them was through Eververse. They lost a little bit of their flair. I think a lot of people remember Nano Phoenix. I think a lot of people remember the Sparrows that could boost twice as fast, but they would blow up if you held it down too long.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
those were
that was fun.
really, really fun. I think it was called the Replicator that came from Wrath of the Machine. It was my favorite Sparrow. So yeah, in the future, if that's a thing, I can get behind Bungie's idea here. So continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And with what you were saying about Trials, the team is working on Adept weapons for Trials of Osiris.
What did he just say? Adept?
Great.
What the
That's great. This is another sweet thing. Trials will get new armor, aka not reprisal, not just reskins.
Yep. New armor,
It'll
not
get
D1 armor.
It'll get accessories and weapons in season 13. So we won't see it right away
Yeah,
at the
roughly
big,
6
the
months from now.
big Comet DLC. Yeah, and then it says Trials will get new armor every year. So this is the start of them saying every year, Destiny 2 is going to be around for a long time, and we'll see that throughout what we're talking about here.
100%.
And then the last one to clean this section up, Destiny's next raid will have brand new armor, weapons, and exotic accessories to pursue. No spoilers.
Did he just say raid?
Yeah.
I feel like a starving man,
Dude.
like
Yeah.
clawing my way through the desert only to see the oasis on the other side of this giant sand dune. Did he say raid? Is that a raid in the distance?
It has to be with with season 12. Like, they have to. We're probably not going to get it in this next upcoming season in a few weeks, but the big boys.
Yes. I guarantee the next raid will be directly attached to the ending of the Comet DLC we get in September or early October. So we'll likely see this raid that they're speaking of. My guess would be early October, between the first and second week. But who knows? At least within that time frame. If they launch in September, then slightly earlier. But that's so exciting. Trials armor getting a reprise is awesome. I like the current set. I like the ornaments from Trials of the Nine, which we earned in the past, and I like
and that was brand new. We'd never seen nothing like that.
So yeah, so I guess in the future, what they're saying is that it will be fun to go back into Trials. So once they retune all these things, I know there's a little bit of the half-baked thing going on, but at its core, I think a lot of people know Trials is a super fun mode. And if we can re-entice the community to come back into it, with new sets of armor, adept weapons, better token dropping.
Bounties.
Yep. Yeah, just bounties to guarantee the third drop for people who are struggling. Like, when all that stuff gets implemented, I feel like we're going to see a big resurgence in the popularity of Trials. Hopefully for a good chunk of time when they get the sauce right. But I think with all of its problems aside, I thoroughly enjoy playing it. I just really like Trials. So it's just an exciting mode. Makes you think really hard while you play. You're constantly trying to be exactly perfect. I just think it's just very cool.
The better the game is, the more people not only are just playing the game, but they're like, people are just stumbling into Trials as well. The better the game is, the better the environment for people to try more things that the game has to offer. So saying the stuff about drops and cosmetics and stuff like this, and being AK in the world, go find it, go work for it. Don't come to the game, anything cool, you can just buy it, and now what am I doing? Okay, well, I don't really need to do anything. I just bought everything. I don't know.
Yep.
I like what they got here. This is to end off. This is the little bullet point thing to end the vanity stuff, cosmetic stuff. And it says, beginning in Season 12, we will no longer be selling ships, ghost shells, sparrows, or armor ornaments in Eververse that are visually based on themes from aspirational activities. We are not planning on changing existing items as that is time time we could be spending on itemizing the future. Okay, so they don't want to waste time on going backwards, right? So like all that cool stuff from Shadowkeep, the sparrow and the ship and stuff, like obviously we know it, you know it, everybody knows it should have been in the dungeon and the raid and this and that. Like, but they know they effed up. They know that's not what they need to be doing. They need to take that stuff and not sell it. They need to be putting it out in the game. That adds so many more hours. Oh my gosh.
I think
So many
to
more.
some degree, Bungie, just like a lot of companies in the gaming world, were kind of pushing the boundary to see how far they could get it with people still enjoying the game in a similar way. And that's not a slight on them. Obviously, every company is trying their hardest to find that perfect balance of making a bunch of money and also making sure people stay because they feel rewarded and enjoy their game. But like ever since, I think it was maybe the first or second Iron Banner in Destiny 2, when they sold that Iron Banner emote for $10, I think there was a lot of people who were just like, what in the world is going on?
Slippery slope.
And I feel like the pushback was there this whole time, and yet we didn't really see much action from them. I think going into year 4, which is wild to say for this game, I think they just know that like if they want to support this game and they want people to stay, that having items that are themed directly to, you know, the dungeon or the raid, which there are, that needs to change. So yeah, hats off. Yep. Good stuff. I can't wait to see it implemented into the game.
It took a while, but you got there. We trusted you. We were just waiting. Everyone was just literally twiddling their thumbs, just waiting for you to say, "Okay, sorry about that. We'll get back. We'll get this stuff back to a D1 style, you know, feeling like it's not just the guns you're going for. Like those cool cosmetics was really really sweet." So that's what it about for the cosmetics. Let's jump into the next part, which is core playlist rewards changes. Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible.
The core playlists, they need to get updated. How are they doing it?
Yes, they do. We are adding a new set of armor for the core playlists. Strike, Gambit, Crucible. This armor shares a set of new geometry with decals and shaders specific to the activity. We will create new sets like this each year. Example, year 4, year 5, year 6. And then this set will arrive alongside the next expansion. Okay, this is a lot to unravel.
Right. Yeah, hold up. You can't just in parentheses add that, Bungie, and pretend like it's all normal.
Right? So this is year 4 when season 12 comes out,
Season
right?
12 will enter us into year 4, correct?
So that means we are, from what they're saying, when that hits, we are halfway through Destiny 2's life cycle, if this is what they're saying. So don't expect E3 for literally 3 more years, which is totally okay. They have this great structure.
Perfectly fine with it.
We have great guns. We have all this stuff. Obviously, sunsetting guns, that's a whole nother story. But if there's fun stuff to do and there's new guns being added and stuff, it's going to make us forget a lot about that. If they're really, really digging down into making the game better and here to stay. You got to make it better to here to stay.
And they're making it clear here that, you know, in year 4, we will be getting a brand new set of aspirational armor themed to that activity that we can earn. The armor shares a set of new geometry with decals and shaders specific to that activity. So when you put on your, you know, Gambit gear, someone's going to look at you and go, that dude plays a bunch of Gambit and he got that armor set because of that. And if they bring in a new cool set, you know, each year to like keep you interested in, I don't know. I just think it's cool. I think the set that we have for Crucible Gambit and Strikes, why can I not think of that? I think they've been here since
They're
Forsaken.
easy to forget.
So like, yeah, because you're just so kind of checked out in like caring about it. So I think this is really good. In fact, he continues onward here. So I want you to take the reins because it gets better.
This is really sweet. Well, let's talk about, everyone was a big hoopla over ritual weapons and how they just were like, it went from pinnacle, and they downgraded ritual, and then they downgraded
the
to just,
stag. Said no one ever.
and then they just downgraded to like nothing, and then throwing us a bone in Iron Banner. Starting in season 12, we are adding a new pursuit weapon each season. This weapon can be earned by playing your preferred core playlist, aka play how you want to play.
Yep.
And this weapon will have activity-specific legendary skins that can be unlocked in each playlist. So you get your gun, and then you rep that gun in what you did to get it. Like,
Yep.
I went and just did strikes. Like, I put this dope strike thing on it, but like, oh, I do really, really, really like the ornament for the Gambit. I'm going to go play Gambit and get another skin for it or something. Like, that's savage. I'm really excited about that.
Well, and they're also setting expectations here too. So the way that I read this is that instead of trying to add 3 ritual weapons every season, which appears to be bogging them down a little bit too much, it appears they are going to be making a specific weapon for each season that you can unlock by playing your favorite core activity. So Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible are available to you, and they will likely be, the way that certain bounties are set up right now allows you to take multiple paths to earn progress. I think we'll likely see something similar here that says, oh, you got to complete games in any of these particular playlists, and you also need to get kills with this weapon type while you're doing it, and kills against Guardians are worth more or something to that effect. That's actually really smart of them because instead of creating 3 unique gun models, what was that sidearm called that came from the Vanguard? Do you remember it had a
Buzzard, I think it was?
The Buzzard. It had a unique kind of model that people hadn't seen. And then the Python kind of had a similar like skin over it.
Oh, man.
Now imagine they go out and they
gun.
do this like, hey, Oxygen looks really cool and unique. And it has all those cool like wires on it. But what if you could remove that Vanguard logo and slap a different logo on it? Because you earned the skin for that season in that activity. I just think it's a cool idea, and it will probably help lower the load on that specific thing they've mentioned. Relegating people to different activities can sometimes remove how much goes into other things. Anyway, I'm rambling.
Yeah, and it's a pursuit weapon. That's like the thing. It's not pinnacle. It's not ritual. It's a pursuit. I'm thinking maybe it's gonna be more like a pinnacle, like. Because they only have to make one, it's much easier to like over the season they think about, well, what do we need? What do they need? What do they need this? Do they need a certain gun? Do they need a heavy? Do they need a special? Do they need a primary? And then maybe we can get some more cool perks like, breakneck and mountaintop style stuff.
That's true. Or just guarantee that the combinations are really, really good. Because I think you'll probably disappoint a lot of people if Point of Stag is your bar going into every season. You're going to have to make them Python level. Like I would even argue that Edgewise gets to the point where that's good enough for a pursuit weapon. It's got good perks across the board. Oh, yeah. Everybody is satisfied. Yep, exactly. Yeah. It's one of the only demolitionist machine guns you can get your hands on. And if you like to do grenade builds, dude, buddy.
Yes, demo field prep, just bullets for days. It's great. It's great. They finish off the weapon stuff with we will no longer be selling new legendary weapon ornaments in Eververse.
Thank you. Stop this. Like, if you're gonna make weapon ornaments, make them available in game or don't make them at all. That's how I feel. So I'm happy that they're moving it towards like, hey, we're gonna do legendary skins. They're gonna be available, but we're making them in a way where you can earn them in game by choosing your favorite path and your favorite setup. So I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of Crucible sweats who get this, the Crucible version of like whatever comes. Because anyway, that's cool. I'm excited about those changes.
Heckin' yes, dude. Heckin' yes. So that about does it. for those core playlist situation. This will be pretty much the ending of it, but it's a pretty big thing. If we're gonna go to being able to have options to get stuff from the Eververse, aka buying it or buying it with Bright Dust, aka like being able to farm Bright Dust, this is what it says: Dust and engrams. We are making it easier for you to earn Bright Dust. We will be moving away from character-specific ways to earn Bright Dust and more toward account-specific paths. AKA, that's money, dude. Like a bar, and you just fill it up, and it just whatever character you're on or something. Like, just make it easier instead of like them damn bounties. This change is geared toward giving one character players significantly more Bright Dust than they earn today.
Wonderful.
Significantly?
Significant? So for me, I just hope that it's exactly how you described it, and I hope that it's similar to the way that it used to be, which is that every time you received a bright engram, you'd get a cosmetic piece that you had or didn't care about. You dismantle it, you can get your bright dust out of it. That way, you're always filling a bar. You're always working towards your next stack of bright dust. I don't know how they plan to change it, but if it's account specific, and it's like, for every 5 core playlist activities that you do, you get X amount of bright dust or something to that effect. I don't know. I just think anything that they do to move it into like, just play the game. You can pick which one you want to do, and there's no limit. Just play, and you'll get bright dust as you go. It was better in the old system, and it seems like they're kind of moving back towards that way. So dope, like it.
Well, they go on to say we're updating the Bright Engram to be more relevant than it is today, because AKA right now it's irrelevant because we have all that stuff, and it's literally, what is it, like legendary shards or something? It's literally nothing. The earned Bright Engram in the season pass will be updated to include various Year 3 Eververse items previously sold for Silver and Bright Dust. And going forward, that Bright Engram will update each season to include Eververse items from 3+ seasons prior. So, like, if you don't get something in that season, the next season comes out, and you can start getting stuff from then. Yeah, like...
As it stands, it's only items that existed about a year ago, and it will change to items that you missed from the most recent 3 seasons. So that sounds great,
It's the FOMO thing, man. Because, like, people, they hate it. Some people just hate it. Yeah. Like, I gotta go play. I'm forced to play because that thing looks cool. I like it. I'm forced to play because I need to get it. No, if it's okay if you don't get it. If you don't care about it that much, but you think it's cool, next season you can be playing and boom, Bright Engram pops up and hey, look at that. I got the ornament or something other. That's great. There's stuff that I don't buy that's just too expensive for Bright Dust or Silver, doesn't matter. Then I'm just like, oh, well, it's going to be a while until I get it. But now, next season, what's in the loot pool. It's going to be sweet.
Yeah, this is a smart change. I think just giving people more access to Bright Dust so that they feel like they're prepared when items they want come around, and then making a Bright Engram more exciting. Because these last few seasons, it's been tougher and tougher to get things from Eververse that you actually want without paying for it. So there's a lot of items you just sort of miss if you don't spend money. So it'll be sweet to be able to acquire some of those items moving forward. These are some really, really great ideas, and I couldn't be happier moving into the next few seasons just to see how it all plays out, because they clearly have an eye on the thing that I think is hurting the core design of the game the most.
Maybe Luke Smith was the one that, I don't know about if anybody's seen the leaks or whatever, but something smashing into the tower. Obviously, the Almighty isn't gonna make it, let's be real, but like a part maybe comes by and smashes just in the side of Eververse, knocks all that loot out into the open world.
Yeah, I can get behind Eververse being less important. He says in the beginning paragraph, to be blunt, there isn't enough pursuit out in the world. We're going to fix it. I just think that's the thing I'm taking away from this, is that they're aware it's not just cosmetic. It is a pursuit issue. People are struggling to engage because they don't feel like they're really doing it the way they used to, where they're, choosing a goal and playing out that goal. So yeah, this is really sweet. Hats off, man. I can get behind these changes.
Yeah. This is great news. That does it for the TWAB. Can we talk about pyramid ship? This season is the end of the cabal. It's their last, what you said. It's their last effort to like beat us, right? So maybe they're done, whatever. And then maybe next season is like Fallen or something, and then they can't beat us. That's their last effort. And then we go into the new big DLC, and the pyramid ships are here, and this is a new enemy type called the Veil. And so like maybe the Fallen and the Cabal, they're like, if we can't beat them, join them. So they take them out, and they're fighting with us now. And the Veil seems like, from what we've heard, is supposed to be just like so many different types of an enemy, more than all the other types combined. And this is like, if this comes to fruition, this is huge. This is something that, not just a new enemy like Scorn, that's just another reskin that does slightly different things. Like, this is something completely different and scary. And let's go dark, baby. Like back when we killed Cade. Let's get dark. Let's get dirty.
Oh, you're funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what to expect. It seems clear that they're leading us towards the pyramid ship expansion. There's a lot of in-game information to suggest that they are a new enemy race that are going to be the main focus of the September expansion. I don't know. They always try to bring something real cool along with them. Like they bring in new subclasses, or they bring in new subclass paths, like with Forsaken. So everybody likes to always say, "Ooh, we got new darkness classes coming," or something like that. I think I don't know exactly what to expect, but I would expect to see some sort of like big change. Like, hey, you like with Shadowkeep, I can't remember, they added a few things, but one of the main things was finishers. At first I didn't think it was a great change until you start doing high-end content and you realize you can do finishers on Grandmaster and Nightfall champions, and then you're like, man, these finishers are real clutch, buddy. These things are really nice.
That little last bit of health is so tanky.
Yeah,
and you're like,
especially if they're trying to put a shield up
in the
and you're
eyeball.
like, you can quickly kill them before they do it, is like an incredible effect. So anyway, I really hope that they are looking at that for the future, because the pyramid ships alone, like having a new enemy type, is like the most exciting thing. Especially if they bring along, like, what if we go on the Taken ship, a la the Taken King Dreadnought, and we get to like experience where they live and kind of like see what it's all about. Like, we fight them in their own home turf. Like, then we can get real dark with it. They're literally the embodiment of the darkness. So like, what kind of crazy dark forms could they take? How do you get scarier than the Taken or the Hive? How do you develop a new looking thing? Anyway, I'm super stoked. I think Bungie can pull it off. They've been my favorite FPS/action shooter guys since 2001 when Halo came out.
Way back.
So yeah, I got faith.
They got it. They got the juice.
That they can do it.
They know what to do.
They know the secret sauce.
Think we'll end it there.
But it's been fun. I sure had fun.
Yeah, I'm hoping next podcast we'll be able to talk about maybe like a mission or something fun. We got no more, like, I know they've been talking about all the TWAB stuff that they want to change, and they kind of went over everything, honestly.
I think there's one or two more main subjects that they talked about, because they said they're going to do one big boy until the end of the season each week. So I think that they're going to go through each kind of mainstay activity and be like, this is what we're kind of doing, and so far so good. All the changes that are coming are smart. This year has felt light because Bungie does not have the same power they used to. So I think with the change of direction, I think it could really help. Anyway, I'm stoked. Yeah. Good stuff.
I'm very, very, very excited. Cool. So, everybody out there, thank you for watching or listening or watching or listening to both of them, to listening to watching of all of our episodes. Go back and check some other ones out. They're pretty neat. We're pretty funny. But that'll do it for another episode. And don't forget to yeet slam that like button.
And don't bomb that bell, Guardians.
Hey. And Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. The link will be in the description. And we'll see you
Have
next
fun.
week.
Stay safe. Later.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.